Welcome back to the Forensic Unplugged channel, guys. It's been a while. It's tough doing content for two channels. I thought I should do some content for the backup channel. So what are we doing today? So I washed this car down, God knows when, probably about a week ago, and it's been sitting in the garage. And it needed a good detail because it's been at a track day at Thruxton that you saw on the main channel. And the car was polished. Was it polished? I think, yeah, it was. It was M2'd and sealed probably between 1 and 2 months ago. He's polishing his car again. I just want to give it a polish. Like, it's nice and early. I just want to give it a polish. It just gives me that sense that it's looking at its best. And what I want to do is I want to do it the easy way. So I'm just going to be using Rupes Uno Advanced, which is a fantastic finishing polish with proper decent protection on it. And it's just very nice to use. And I'm going to be using, I'll probably go with the Flex Reds actually. Probably only going to need one because of the way that I'm polishing. I'm not going to be working the pad too hard. So Uno Protect with a red pad, and we'll just get a red 3-inch mini and a red 1-inch mini as well. So we've got all the sizes we need. What axes are we going to use? Axes. My axe of choice. We're going to be using this because it's up and ready to go, and I can just grab it. Oh, with the exception of changing the battery with one hand, which is difficult. You swine, I'm going to pay you, because it's up and ready to go. Almost. Let's make sure we've got a good battery. No? Yes. Okay, so we'll put another battery on charge while that one's running. So we have our XCE, and oh no, got the wrong adapter there. And we'll use one, we'll need that as well, the claw tool, just to keep our pads clean. And we'll use the 1-inch plate. Oh, jeez. You need 2 hands. This is YouTube stuff, ridiculous. And we don't want the adapter. I've done that so tight, it ain't going to come off. I'm going to need something else. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, we're getting there, guys. Make sure that's on. Right. And we're going to use the XC, which is my favourite force rotation cordless. So everything's cordless here. And let's just make sure we've got a good battery. Ooh, that would do. We've got another one. Let's use this one that we know is full charge here. Yeah, we'll put that semi-charged one on just so we don't have to mess around too much with batteries. Right, so there's our axes. Right, very informal video, this one. Let's put our axes over here. I like to get organised. I like to get organised when I'm doing this. So what else do I need? Polish pads, thingies, polish pads, polishers. I need some cloths. So I got these. I'm just going to use these because the paint on this BMW is nice and hard. And these are probably going to be ideal, actually. These, you can't buy these. I got these direct from a manufacturer. They're just 350 GSM edgeless cloths. They've got quite a bit of beef to them, but they really stay nice and flat on the panel. Just love those. So essentially that's all we need. What about a light source, John, really, to check your work? No, I'm not digging out swirls. You know, we're going to be working quite quick. This car is not like a show car. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, it's pretty damn good. But like when you go out in the summer, and light hits this back thing, I know there's little scratches and little marks in it and stuff like that I could take out. But they just don't worry me as long as, you know, the car looks pretty good. So I'm kind of happy with just this car being as it is, but I like it to be nice and glossy. I like polishing it. The wheels are clean. I'll dress those with something, and I'll clean the glass. And the interior is okay. It's pretty good. Could do with a little vacuum out there, but that gets like instantly dirty the moment I step in it. But I've given it a little wipe down, I think, when I did the clean, so that's okay for me. What else have we got going on? Martin, one of my patrons, the chap that bought the Club Sport off me, you've seen him on the channel up at Bedford, wanted to get, you know, I was talking about noodles and pads, and he went to a manufacturer and had this made, and it's really good. It's really good. I'm gonna so I'm using this car end one, which is the only one I could find on the market that had a sort of decent foam thing in the middle, so it just wasn't completely floppy, and was two sides. But the foam has gone down to this end that you can see bulging, and there's no foam down here, which is a problem, and it might happen to this one as well. I don't know. I hope it doesn't. It feels a bit tighter. The foam does feel a bit tighter and a bit bigger and a bit beefier. It's also not quite as wide, so you can get your hand around it. So this really, like I said to Martin, I haven't used it yet, if you could get the noodles any denser, that would be good. But they're actually, to be fair, they're probably actually denser than they're denser than the car end one. They've got them on the side. The side that's stitched, there's a bit of a gap there, but I'm not sure if there's much you can do about that. So this could be good. I'd like it maybe even stiffer, so it's really stiff when you get it, because they tend to loosen up. So if you get really stiff foam in it, but the size is absolutely perfect. So Martin's just checking these out as well, and I think he's going to order a load of them for himself and then stick the rest on eBay. And I will probably buy 2 or 3 of them, because yeah, that's kind of what I'm after. It's nice, so you can flip it over as well. You plonk it on the panel. Yeah, it's not going to be expensive. And the Chanel, I think, is the safest. I don't know why, but I just think it's the safest thing on paintwork from what I've seen. Most of the other naps, or not naps, but the surface of the face of the other formats, like flat microfiber ones, when they get wet, they tend to flatten over and the dirt can stick on top of them more. Whereas these noodly ones, you're always kind of floating on the tendrils. I know it sounds like BS, but it's not. I think that's why they're probably safer. And like, they just, when you do get dirt in them, I just don't think you pressure it into the paint as much more with these Chanel. So they're what I use. I never used to. I used to sort of prefer the feel of some of the other formats. But it was doing the Pro Detailers test where I saw with my own eyes, when we tested them on like soft surfaces with like gritty dirt that they'd made up, put on them, and then just washed them all off with the different formats. There was a big difference, and the Chanel was the clear kind of safest one. And since that moment, I've been using them. I've got Lou coming round, Lewis, friend of the channel, the guy with the Golf R, and we are going to be polishing the car down. He's going to get it all washed and clayed, hopefully, and then we're going to polish it. Let's just take this. We'll end up dropping it. Hold on. I just want to put this out of the way. We're going to polish it down, probably with M2, Koch Chemie M2 and soft pads, or probably F6 actually, because there will be the odd swirl marks. So we'll probably go with F6, polish his car down, and then we're going to put this stuff on, which is Quick Cure, which is just like easy to use ceramic coating which lasts 2 years. I've used it before. It's so easy to use. It's so thin. It's not sticky at all. It's just smooth. You just buff it out and it just slickens up under the microfiber. It's not gonna, you'd have to really go some to mess up the install of this. You'd have to like throw it on, flick it on the car with the bottle, use your foot to buff it to mess up the install because it just buffs off so nice. So we'll get a good finish with this. And then I've got a kit that can maintain it with the Regen ceramic spray, the ceramic foam and the ceramic shampoo. We're going to do loose seats as well because he's got fabric seats in this stuff which is really like hydrophobic. It soaks into the fabric. So if you tip like coffee onto your fabric seats, don't try that at home. You'll just see it soak into the fabric and then it dries and it's gone. Whereas this stuff soaks into the fabric and stays there. And then if something else tries to soak in the fabric, like especially water-based stuff, it repels it. So it's just a way, especially when you've got kids, of maybe keeping those fabric seats easier to clean. So looking forward to doing that on Friday. I'll video all that because that will be good. I think I've got my lineup here for the glass sealants. So I'm going to be doing a glass sealant test. I've got the Glaco, and I think the Ultra compound is the best one. The Ultra thing is the best one from what I've seen. I've done a video trying to figure out if Glaco Ultra is better than Glaco DX, and I think Ultra is probably the one to go for because of the durability. Angel Wax, Geon, the non-ceramic one, which I've got. I've got to buy the Wolfgang one. I've got to buy Rain-X. I've got to buy that. I've got to buy that. Nanolex. And we've got one ceramic in there just to make it a different feel. Some people say, well, it's not, you're not comparing apples with apples. No, we're just comparing loads of different glass cleaning options. We've got silicone ones, we've got fluorine ones, you know, we got God knows what ones, we've got ceramic ones. So the more we can get in there, the better the results, or the more interesting the results. Is there any iconic ones that I've missed? This list has been created with my patrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm kind of happy with that list. I don't think I've missed any iconic glass sealants that people talk about. You know, I keep my ears to the ground. I know what's hot and what isn't. You know, and there's millions, and people will say, can you put this one in, can you put that one in, can you put this one in, can you put that one in? But I can only do so many before it gets too difficult. You know. So you know the score with that. Right, what I want to do, let's get one of our cloths. And in here I've got the McKee's, which is the like the O&R waterless, rinseless wash thing. I'm just gonna put some on my towel, mist a little bit over, just in case we've got any dust that's fallen on the car. I've used the tar and glue on this as well. I don't tend to get much build-up of fallout because I've got the carbon ceramic brakes which don't generate so much fallout, you know, or iron or whatever. You get the idea. So, oh, a little bit of tar and glue there. There was so much on there. You really need to use the TARDIS to get it off. And I'm not worried about these kind of, the residue there, that will just vape out. So, just really making sure that when we polish this, let's do this wing as well, we don't have any rubbish on the paintwork. Just caught me out before. It's important, especially when you've got, it's not an ideal garage this, so stuff can fall down from the roof. Feels a bit grippy, that does. Okay, I will quickly polish over here as well. You can notice the front of my car's picking up little stone chips. The nature of the beast, guys. The nature of the beast. This motor. Oh, I'm losing the camera angle thing. This motor I bought to drive. And when you drive your car, especially around a track, you're going to put a bit of wear and tear on it, but you get to really experience the car. So that's what I want to do with this car. Keep it looking reasonably nice, glossy, shiny for the old Instagram shots, and drive it and really enjoy it. And I love it. Do love this M4. Having a go in that GT3 the other day, or sitting shotgun in it, made me realise there's levels, and this is a certain level, and it's pretty good. Like, the level of this car is quite good, but it's not up at that kind of like elite level where things are amazing like the GT3. But I think this is probably fast enough and good fun. So yeah, I will be keeping this car unless anything bad happens. So let's get started. We'll just do the bonnet first of all. And what I also like about this, probably shouldn't put your glass on the screen, but never mind. Let's put this away. We don't need any panel wipe, and we just plonk this on here. I'm doing it. I need 2 hands again. Always do it this way round so you can look down on the pad. And after a while, you start getting the knack of getting them lined on properly. Always give your pad a smack. Give it a spin up. You can see why there, because you know your polishers do get dirty, and you don't ever get the pads 100% clean, even though you try. So you get old polishing. When you do your first polishing set, your pad is, especially the surface of the pad, is free of polish. You know, generally just the old stuff. So once it starts getting wet, the dusting stops. You know, you almost seal it in a little bit. But you also probably blast most of the dust out. So that's a good tip. Spin it up. Where are you going? Now this stuff is probably mentioned before. Love it. We used it the other day. I probably used it about 5 or 6 times now. I've got it on the black Peril. We put it on a BMW at Fresh Layers the other day. I've done the review video on it. I've put it on something else as well. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm going through it quickly, which is a great sign. It's just really nice to work with. It's just really nice. It's quite thin, so, you know, it is quite thin. So if you put big blobs of it on and you're at high speeds, etc., yeah, it looks like a face. It looks like my face. You know, just be aware that it's quite thin, but it's just when you get a soft pad, when you're cutting with stiff pads and heavy abrasives, it can be dusty, it can be sticky, it can be all those things. But when you're working with a soft pad and a fine abrasive, you know, on nice paint, it should be just lovely and smooth. And again, we're not really going to be spending too long doing this. Spread it. And polish it. still worth, we're not just spreading sealant, we are glossing up the paint. So it's worth doing the crosshatch just to make sure we do the consistent polishing, because if we're just going one way, you're channeling almost, you know, you're channeling and you're hitting more with the middle of the kind of pad. So good crosshatch set over there will polish it out properly. And the great thing is you don't have to panel wipe, you just leave this lovely thin layer there. Wait 15 minutes, wait half an hour. Don't know what happens if you wait hours and hours, but it'll just buff off really easily. And the paint will feel lovely and slick. It's hydrophobic. It's not like a 10 out of 10 hydrophobic, but it's a good, I think probably something like 8 out of 10 hydrophobic. You know, pretty damn beady for a, what is essentially an AOI. So it's probably the first polish that you can actually finish out with that actually puts down really good protection that you can use on machine. And it's just phenomenal. It's really good. So there we go. I don't really, let's just, oh, I'll put the camera down. It's quite a wet polish. You'll get no dusting from this at all. You know, you'll get no dusting. You can put your pea-size drops if you like. I'm just getting quite a bit over the pad. We'll get it going. Now, force rotation. I can't understand why force rotation isn't more popular. I just can't understand. I can't understand because the free spinners just don't cut to the edges as well as these machines. Really noticed it the other day when I was doing single stage again. Like you have to edge out like with a smaller tool all the time, whereas this really does cut to the edge when you go over. It doesn't lift so much on the edges either, and you know, especially with a contour, like as I'm going with a free spinner over here and then down to this dip, as soon as I hit the bottom of the dip, you can see the pad's uneven. The free spinner will stall out. And I know you can sort of like work differently and go there and then sort of go there, try and keep it flatter and keep it spinning. But right there, with this, you just don't have to kind of worry about that. It's just like, it won't stall, you know, it just won't stall. It's more relevant when you're cutting. But still probably relevant to when you're finishing, it's just you ain't going to see it. You ain't going to see the difference so much. So let's just do another set. Where should we put this? Let's put this over here. No, yeah. Let's just do another set. So that's half a bonnet done. I always say never make the fatal mistake of speeding up as you're going along. You know, you start off really concentrating, really disciplined, and by the end you start getting fed up polishing. You go turbo mode. You know, you could like just go all the way along there. I'll probably end up doing that. Yeah, so you get the idea. You get the idea. It's really, really easy, and it will just make the paint nice and slick again. It'll have stripped off whatever was left on there, so that will have stripped off the remnants of the Ultra Lock, and we just let that dry and give it a good buff out. Work our way around the car. I can use it on all these gloss plastics with a soft pad. That's going to work well. These probably need a polish, but they're a nightmare. I can't be bothered. You have to tape all that up. Go along it with a little 1 inch. I was chatting to Mike about this stuff. You know, just using a glaze on a hand polish is probably the way to go. And the roof won't take long. And then the missus is there looking at me, so I'll be back in a second. I'm back, guys. So this has been on the car now for well over 15 minutes. So I just want to show you. Again, I love showing the buffage. So let's just drop this on here. And let's just, I don't want to put too much pressure. I'm just going to swirl gently. Like really gently. These cloths are probably better with this, at picking up this for some reason. Just so easy to buff. So nice to buff. Little circular buffs are good. But yeah. Just a little bit of resistance there. So this must be doing something. Setting on the panel. Let's just work our way down the whole side of this, because this has all been done. This half's been done. I just need to get some little dots. You want to pick those up. Right. Probably flooded one side of the microfiber now. But we'll keep going. That's a nice bit you can see. There's a water spot there, or is that a chip? That's a chip. Don't look, John. Don't look. What I'm seeing, oh, it's a reflection there. Thought that was a bit of etching or something. Paranoia will destroy you. Paranoia will destroy you. Paranoia. Right, and you should probably always think you've buffed it. I've got something there that I haven't polished out. It's like a little etching. It's probably, my gut feeling is that might be like the remnants of rubber. So maybe that needs a bit more attention. But anyway, that'll do. You should always probably flip and then just go with that fresh microfiber for the final buff. Because then you know you're getting there. But I love the fact that it makes the paint feel really silky. Yeah, it does. It feels amazing. And that's it, really. You kind of want to preserve that. It really gives it that kind of fresh plastically look, like if you take an old leather couch and then put like one of those brand new plastic thick covers over it. It gives you that real like thick glossy plastic look, which is good. Plastic's not the right word, but just good gloss. Yeah, it's a really good product. So once I've gone around the whole car, it will just be where I want it to be again. Till next time. The problem with this product is it's so good, every time I wash my car, I want to whiz over it with this, which you could do. You know, I'm not cutting really. This is so soft, this pad. This is such a fine abrasive. I'm not pressuring in, I'm not going slowly, so I'm just really whizzing over that little top 0.5% of the clear coat and not really removing much. So I've got no risk of going through my clear coat by over polishing. You know, if I was doing it with H8 or F5, you know, every couple of weeks, then sooner or later you're going to go through, aren't you? You know, after probably about a year of doing that, once every 2 weeks, you're probably going to go through somewhere. So you've got to be careful about cutting too much. But really with these this advanced, the cut is low, which is cool. I've talked about AOIs before, AOIs, all-in-ones, AIOs, and really these are all the ones that I keep. Sort of like the unique polishes, if you like. This has a lot more cut and finish, and it's really good, and it's really nice to work with, but it will cut a bit more. This is cut and finish, slightly less cut than that, but the protection isn't as good as the advanced. Neither is that. None of these, the protection is nowhere near what's in that. Whatever's in that is really, really good. I'm running out of that. This is a really good quality abrasive, but this protection is probably poor. These have got better protection, actually, I'd say, but the quality of the abrasive is great. That's just a really nice silky glaze, handy to have for doing those black pillars. And that's a really nice one to buff, and it smells really nice as well. The triple is really nice. I like it. It's cheap, and I'll always have a bottle of that, I think. I do like it. The disadvantage with the triple is it's wax, I think. So after a couple of washes, that breakdown, you can just feel it on the microfiber a little bit where it's not quite smooth. So that's the disadvantage of using a wax as opposed to like a modern sealant. It breaks down less, in my opinion anyway. It's something I've noticed. So let's put that there, shuffle that along, just keep that like that. It's important to have your bottles in order. It makes me feel good. So the good news, we've done half of the bonnet. The bad news is I've got the rest of the car. I thought I'd just bring you in informally. How's things going generally? Really good, guys. Enjoying life. Been spending a lot of time with fresh layers. We are finished with this really cool golf video that we've been doing, and that was taking a absolutely this is well and truly the world's worst dirty, neglected, abandoned, sat on a driveway type video, you know, disaster detail. What are the other things? You know, first wash in 10 years type thing. It's one of those type videos which I like to do every now and then when the right car comes in, and they're not easy to find like this. But this is an amazing car to show detailing on, and Martin knew about the car for ages and wanted to do it, and it was just getting the car. You know, we want to surprise the owner as well, and Martin knows the family, so it's been difficult getting the logistics set up, and we've got the owner coming back, and we're going to be revealing the car to him, which is going to be really cool. Now, we're probably not going to tell him, you know, we're not going to say we've done this. What we're going to do is get him to come over to the Fresh Later studio with his brother, try and come up with some sort of thing that his brother's going to see Martin for something else. And then as he goes in, we could have the car under the cover, or maybe open up the shutter door and then he sees his car or something like that. I don't know, you know, I think having it under the cover and saying, oh, can you just whip the cover off that for us? And then I'll whip out the GoPro, do a Jeremy Beadle on him and get his reaction, which will be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been there this week as well. We've been doing a BMW with single stage paint as well, which was a right dog, and that came up quite nice. And that was just a quick day detail. The Golf, we've been doing all sorts of things on that have taken quite a long time, like really, really transformed that car, and that was properly gone. You got to see the video on that one. I've got to piece it together yet in the edit, which will take a bit of time. I'm going to set to work on the glass sealants very soon. I'm off up to Bedford next week to track this car. Probably be my last track day of 2022 because it starts getting a bit unpredictable weather-wise. Yeah, other than that, things are really good, guys. So we will get back into doing more detailing content, although there's going to be a lot coming out. You know, there's a lot in the tank. So Let me know how you're doing. I should really end the video here, but I feel like we're bonding at the moment. I've probably lost most of you anyway. Take care, guys. I've got a couple of other things in the pipeline. I'll talk to you about those in other videos. Don't forget to subscribe to the Unplugged channel, and I will try and get more content out. Bye now.